guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our move up here. Hope you enjoyed it. We just want to do a quick run through of a few of the decisions we made with the move up and
pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons, why we did what we did to suit our situation, what other options are out there. When we were moving up, there wasn't the right kind of, I suppose, information on YouTube that we were chasing.
No, there wasn't much out there for us to sort of research.
Yeah. So we thought we'd just put some information out there and maybe help someone else along the way if they want to do a similar sort of move, or I guess it's not really directional specific. You can move anywhere across the country, and this information hopefully is still going to be relevant. Yeah. So I suppose what we did, we, as you would have seen, we hired a one-way trailer through U-Haul, I think it was.
Which was bigger than what we were actually anticipating at the start.
Yeah, which kind of turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
I was going to say, but it was much better in the end.
Yeah, no, the trailer that we thought we were getting definitely wouldn't have done the job. So it's kind of, it worked out well that we got the size trailer that we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, we looked through the whole removalist thing, just for ease of use and just, I suppose, peace of mind.
Well, that and it was cheaper to go through a hire trailer rather than take all of our stuff up, get a remove list, and then because we couldn't get into our house straight away, we also had to get storage, which the more stuff you have, obviously the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
It was also about a cost factor as well.
Yeah, I suppose money came into it the most. I mean, I think we paid about $1,300 for the trailer hire for about 10 days, as well as the insurance associated with that. As opposed to removalists were going to be like 12 to 14 grand, So it was probably a 90% saving going with the trailer, which worked out really well for us.
Yeah, it was much better option.
Yeah, yep.
That doesn't mean that it's going to be the best for everyone.
No, it just worked for us, yeah.
Yep. I've actually got one of the girls that I work with who used a removalist to get up here, but she bought absolutely everything from her house when she moved. Mm-hmm. But then she also said that once they move into their house up here, they got rid of a lot of stuff and re-bought everything as well. So
they could have done that where they moved from, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they could have cut costs and sold everything back where they moved from, mm-hmm. and just got a trailer rather than hiring movers for the whole lot.
Yeah, yep. We had the plan all along to hire the trailer just because we moved into a smaller house, so we had to get rid of a bunch of stuff anyways, and we sort of figured that we try and save as much money as we could. Like, we couldn't really afford 12 to 14 grand to move everything up here.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's pros and cons either way. Obviously, the biggest pro to the trailer is the cost.
Yeah.
Like I said, we saved about 90% less than what we would have if we had to use removalists. And I think I found that when we moved up here, having the trailer with us was really handy because we could access the stuff.
Well, yeah, we had our stuff the whole way.
Yeah, and which we did a couple of times. I think every day we were sort of accessing that trailer for little bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, because we had the dogs in the back. We didn't have that space. So, our overnight bags and like laundry stuff.
All the
and
dog food and stuff. Yeah,
that can just go in the end of the trailer, which made it easy access for the trip. So
yeah,
and it gave us that room for the boys in the back. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if you've got a family of 4, 5, 6, whatever, if you've got a bigger family, that's probably not going to be, a wise option. So you're probably going to have to go to the removalists. But I mean, because there was just the two of us, the two dogs, and like Ady said, we needed the room for the dogs in the back of the cars.
Don't forget Squish.
Yeah, Lily was there as well. Yeah, Squish was in the front.
Don't forget Squish. God help us, she'll kill us.
Yeah. But yeah, no, biggest pro definitely was the cost factor for sure.
Yeah.
Having access to all of our stuff with us, I suppose like a security thing, like we knew where it all was. It was all there with us, and it was quicker. I mean, we did the drive in 4 days, and our stuff moved up there with us in 4 days.
Yeah.
If we had to use removalists, I don't know, they may have taken a week. We didn't really know. They could have taken longer. They probably wouldn't have done days as big as what we did.
We don't generally get your stuff straight away. There's usually a holding time. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Not that we needed it straight away anyway, because obviously we weren't in the house, but if we did move straight into a house, then we wouldn't have had our furniture.
We wouldn't have had anything. Yeah. But I suppose on the flip side of that, and this is probably where the removalists shine, is that there's less manual handling because they're going to do it all for you. They're professionals, so they do this every day. They know what they're doing. Your stuff is pretty safe and sound, and you wouldn't have had to sell everything like we did. Like we were selling things. We had garage sales most weekends for months. We sold 90% of our stuff easy.
And yet we still walked away with the same amount of shit that you would if you just moved in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So definitely pros and cons to both. Just for our personal circumstances, the trailer was the way to go, and they're fairly easy to come across as well. Like I only had to drive probably 45 minutes to the next town to actually pick this trailer up, so they're pretty widely available. Whereas I suppose depending on where you live, your removalists may be booked out doing other jobs for X amount of time, so you may have to sort of fall in line with their schedule. We didn't look into the removalists as much as what we should have, so this is kind of speculation to a degree. We just seen the price and said, no thank you, we'll go this way instead.
Yeah. So it just wasn't viable for us to have removalists.
Yeah. What else was there? Accommodation. Accommodation's probably another big thing for us.
Yeah.
Again, because we had the dogs and we based most of our move really around the dogs.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah. Which is good because it made things as easy for them as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, they were driving, big long days just as much as we were, and they've never been in the car for that long before, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, prior to the move, they've spent, half an hour in the car?
Yeah, so we had to make it as easy for them as we could to sort of not stress them out, which in turn didn't stress us out. So, yeah, it was based around the boys a lot more than probably what you would do if you didn't have dogs.
Yeah. And that was the sole reason why we stayed where we did, because we had to find pet-friendly accommodation.
Yeah.
So we had to find towns that were, generally the bigger towns are going to have more options with accommodation, so we had to stay in larger towns that had that pet-friendly accommodation. I mean, if you didn't have pets and you were just a couple, or even a couple plus one child maybe, you could camp. You could literally stay anywhere, pull up on the side of the road and camp. Like that's basically free.
Which, in saying that, even if you do have dogs or kids, that's not to say that you can't camp. Like, you can.
Yeah, camping wasn't an option for us. And obviously most accommodations weren't an option for us either, so we had to go with the pet-friendly accommodation. So there are other options out there. We probably spent more than what most people would. Obviously the pet-friendly cabins are pricier than the standard cabins, which is even pricier than a powered site, which is even pricier than just free camping. Yeah. So there are plenty of options out there. That was just the one that suited us. So there definitely is room, if you're doing it on a budget, there definitely is room to save money from that aspect.
Yeah. Airbnb is also a good option.
Yeah, because they're everywhere, hey?
Yeah, well, Airbnbs are everywhere. They're easy to access.
Mm-hmm.
There's an app for it. You can literally book, providing it's available along the way. But we weren't sure coming up the road that we were taking whether we would have reception, so we had to make sure that everything was booked prior to, in case we were driving out of reception areas. And
which happened quite a fair bit, it happened a lot.
Yeah, yep. So, don't forget the Airbnbs, they're really good. You've got your hotels, your caravan parks, which is what we did. There's so many options, it's just what suits you and your family or whatever your situation is.
Yeah, exactly right. And moving on, I suppose the last main variable cost is going to be your food.
Yeah, we probably spent more in food than what we would have liked.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The downside to travelling and not, going to restaurants was there's a lot of takeaway.
Yeah.
A lot of fast foods from your servos when you get fuel. So it was safe to say that come the fourth day when we did arrive in Cairns, we were hanging for
a proper meal.
a proper home-cooked meal.
Yeah.
We still went out and had a restaurant meal, but it was a proper cooked meal. It wasn't deep fried.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. Some people like to do a lot of takeaway. We don't. So that was probably really hard for us. And as everyone knows, takeaway is expensive.
Yeah. I suppose if we had have taken more time, because we were in a bit of a rush, we did it in 4 days. If we had have taken a bit of time, we probably could have maybe taken longer lunch breaks and gone somewhere that does healthier options. But seeing as we were taking short stops, we were in a hurry most of the time, it was more just a case of when you get fuel, you get whatever servo food they've got and you go.
Yeah.
So
and
it definitely got old after 4 days. Yes, I suppose from the food point of view, we probably did go one of the more expensive routes. If you had an esky available,
or a car fridge.
Or a car fridge would be perfect actually, yeah. You could just prep your food before you leave and then just eat out of what you've prepared for the trip. I mean, that's basically free, and I suppose it's even quicker than stopping off and getting food somewhere because you can eat on the go. You're not actually having to stop somewhere to eat. So that would definitely be by far the cheapest option, I suppose. But then on the same token, I suppose we could have spent more. We could have gone for sit-down meals for lunch and for dinner and whatever we did. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, takeaway was definitely...
It was the easiest one by far.
Yeah, and I suppose that was what we're going for. Hey, we're going for easy. Yeah. We weren't necessarily... We couldn't really afford something that took too long and something we had to think about because we were just constantly on the road. So we just needed something that was convenient, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, fuel was a big thing. Like we guesstimated our fuel costs.
We weren't too far off.
No, we weren't.
Saying that. Yeah, we weren't too far out of.
We based our calculations on Victoria prices in Bendigo. What we didn't really realise or think about was obviously in different states, in different towns, the fuel prices changes. So one of the towns, I can't remember the name of it, but one of the towns was over $2 a litre for fuel.
Yeah, well, you would have seen in the last video, the Baliendo crossing, that was...
expensive.
Yeah, I think that was $2.70 a litre for diesel.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
You know, and when we left Bendigo, diesel was, what, less than $2?
Yeah, like $1.90 or something.
You know, so that added up to it. And, we didn't take that into account when we budgeted for fuel. But in saying that, you probably chewed through a little bit more fuel than what you were anticipating.
Yeah.
Because we ended up towing a little bit heavier than what we originally planned.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't go through as much fuel as what we originally thought either.
Sort of balanced out that way. Yeah.
Yeah, so all up, I filled up every time Brodie filled up just to make sure. But if I had to guesstimate, full tanks, I would say that I probably only filled up 3 times at max. And then I think I filled up the last day when we were in Townsville, and that lasted me the first week in Cairns.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so just for a bit of context, obviously I've got the Colorado dual cab ute, which was loaded up in the tub with as much as we could fit. Yeah. And then I was towing the trailer as well, so it's a big sort of horse float shaped trailer, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And that weighed 2 tonne. So I reckon, and Ady's in the Mitsubishi ASX.
Which I was also towing, a trailer.
Yeah, awesome little 4-cylinder petrol, super fuel efficient, great little unit, and was towing a 6x4 trailer.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, 400 kilos, 300 to 400 kilos.
Give or take.
Yeah, roughly. So, and like Ady said before, she went through probably 3 or 4 tanks.
Correct.
Which probably would have been, what, $600 maybe?
Yeah, about $500 to $600, depending on where I filled up. Like, we tried to fill up in the bigger towns because they tend to be a little bit more reasonably priced.
Yeah, for sure.
But some of the times, we chewed through a little bit more fuel than what we anticipated, so we didn't have much choice. We had to fill up at the smaller towns, which obviously were a little bit more expensive. So, yeah, it's just, making sure you've got enough fuel and sort of figuring out, making sure you can try and stop off at the major towns.
Yeah.
Which would probably help the costs. Which would also in turn help the food costs as well, because you've got more options.
Yeah, more options, usually cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think I went through about maybe 6 or 7 tanks of fuel.
Yeah.
So I mean, from $80s, $500 to $600 for the trip up here, I would have spent well over $1,200.
Yeah, but you were only getting maybe 400 k's out of the tank.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas I was getting about 500 to 600 k's out of the tank.
Yeah. So I mean, it's understandable. I'm probably carrying twice the weight as what they were, and it also depends on what car you've got as well. You might have a big Isuzu truck with your life on the back, or you might just shove your life into a Hyundai Getz and get up there on a tank or two. So it's not really something you can control too much. Like Ady said before, stick to the bigger towns. It's generally cheaper fuel, but I mean, at the end of the day, the price is what the price is. So it's more comes down to how much weight you have and what kind of vehicle you've got, as to what you're going to pay for fuel. But just for reference, 4-cylinder petrol, towing a small trailer, 500 to 600, dual cab diesel ute with a 2-ton trailer, 11 to 1200. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know what your car's going to go through, so you probably just calculate how much it's going to take you to drive, however far you're going to go.
And then that actually is a good segue into our other topic, the route that we took. There's three main options to get up here.
Yep.
You've got the coastal route,
There's 2 inland routes.
Yeah, inland routes. But again, what we didn't consider when we decided to go the route that we took was all the floods that we were having prior to us leaving.
Just previously,
A lot of those roads were closed for weeks. And we didn't consider that. And then because they were flooded, some of the roads were actually really bad to drive on.
Very
poor.
poor.
They were very bumpy.
Yep.
It went down from 2 lanes to 1. But we've also heard from a few other people that going the coastal route is just as bad.
Yeah.
And it's also a little bit longer.
Yeah. I suppose just a bit of a disclaimer with this information. This is probably more specific to the Victoria to Northern Queensland route, because obviously depending on where you move around Australia, there may only be one route, there might be 20.
Exactly.
I know I said at the start of this video that this was going to be pretty general information for wherever you're moving, but we just thought we'd throw this in there, even though it's pretty specific to
Victoria.
A Victoria to Queensland sort of move.
But for those of you who are considering whether you're holidaying up this way and driving, or potentially thinking of the move,
Hope this helps.
Yeah. It's a good little information for you.
Yeah. We didn't really have much choice with the route that we took.
No.
We weren't going to go the coastal route because it's a much longer drive. You go through a lot of main cities, and obviously you're going to get more people as well. I mean, the east coast of Australia has got the majority of the population, so that's going to slow you down straight away. And the other inland route, I believe, didn't go through as many major towns.
No, which means we couldn't get accommodation for the boys.
Exactly, so that sort of limited us there again. So, and
some of the inland routes are actually dirt roads too. So, and we didn't want to go on a dirt road with the trailers.
Yep.
We didn't want to risk having the trailer fill up with dirt and dust, and then all of our stuff being covered. Yeah.
So I guess although there are other ways to go, we really only had one choice. I mean, if you want to take a week or two, by all means take the coastal route.
Oh, it'll be a lot nicer to do.
Yeah, check out the towns along the way. I mean, there's so much to see along the east coast. We didn't really have that luxury though. We just wanted to get from A to B as quick as we could, and then that was really the only way to do it.
So that's pretty much the information that we have.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything more.
No.
We'll definitely do it again. I really enjoyed the drive.
I would not. Okay, no, that's a lie. I would do it again if we could share the car and share the driving.
Oh yeah, true.
But I would not do it again doing 4 days straight by myself.
Yeah, it takes it out of you.
Well, I have back issues, and sitting for 10 to 12 hours a day in a car really hurts your back. So,
yeah, that's for sure.
you know, and like the first day was good in the sense that, you know, we were pumped up. We didn't really feel that tired, but come the third day, we were exhausted.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Squish was with us, so she was able to drive my car. But yeah, having Lily as a learner driver take over some of the travelling, that was good. Means I could sort of rest. Anyone who's teaching a learner driver to drive will know that you don't really get much rest, but it's just nice to
You've
sort
got to
of
be pretty alert still.
yeah, but still being able to, you know, cross your legs on the seat and get comfortable and get a different angle for your back and all that sort of stuff. It definitely made a difference. It's definitely worth looking into any rules and regulations coming from one state to another.
Yeah, especially when crossing multiple states like we did.
Yeah,
you've got to do.
we crossed 3 state lines.
You've got to do that.
Sorry, into 3
2
states.
stage. Yeah. You've got to do that forward investigating.
Yeah.
Just because it's legal in your state doesn't mean it's going to be legal moving through or moving into other states.
Yeah.
So keep that on the forefront of your mind.
I reckon that's probably about it, though.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. But yes, if you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch that now.
Down here or over there, or
Yeah, I'll see if I can put it up here somewhere. If not, links in the description. Thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully some of this information has been helpful.
and if there is anything that you want to know, just give us a comment or message us.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's probably more information that we can give you. But this is just sort of like the main off the top of our head stuff.
Bit of a summarisation.
Yeah, so, you know, if there are any questions that you want answered, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll either make another video or we'll write back to your comment.
Yep.
We're definitely going to try and keep on top of staying in contact with as many people as we can. So
Yeah.
drop us a comment.
Head over to Instagram as well. Chasing Dreams Oz. We're posting there most days. And again, if there's anything you see that you like or that you're curious about, chuck a comment in. We'll always reply.
Or even better, if you are from Cairns or anywhere in Queensland and there's any recommendations that you can make for us to do while we're here,
Please get in contact.
That would be great.
For sure. Yep, that's a great idea.
you know, we're always open to suggestions, places to see, people to meet,
Yeah,
all
things
that
to do.
explore.
Yep, for sure.
So,
I suppose one more thing is please like and subscribe.
yes, that. So thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace out, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's get it started in hot. What's up, guys?
Hey guys, thanks for watching our moving
yell.
video up here. Sorry?
Don't yell. My friend's just there. What's up, guys?
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video up here, our move up here. I'll start that again.